We are the stars. We are the planets. We share a fundamental connection with all creation. We are individual manifestations of the subtle oneness. Since the beginning of time, man has turned to the sky for answers concerning that connection, knowing that the sky provides the clues to know our real self. Astrology studies the stars as an external reference to human nature. As above, so below. The basic instrument of astrology is the zodiac, a symbolic elliptical belt made up by 12 signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. The basic tool for our astrological understanding is our unique natal chart. Our natal chart is the mirror of our inner celestial space. It is the map of the sky with respect to the Earth at the moment of our birth. As in the solar system, the sun is the central element of our chart. The sign in which this celestial body is at the moment of our arrival to this life is our solar sign. And it is the reflection of the central energy of our being. Therefore, this work, Astro 12, the collection, is centered in the 12 solar signs and its relations with other esoteric traditions. However, we must be conscious that each one of us is influenced by the 12 solar signs and all the planets in our birth chart. Studying their position and relations will help us to accomplish the ancient precept, know thyself. Understanding oneself is to understand other humans as well.
Leo, your sign, your inner self. The solar sign symbolizes the basic traits of your psyche. It reflects your inner urges, your approach to life. It indicates the way you tend to express your talents. It reveals the way you are prone to handle your fears and limitations. Leo's nature is shaped by its position on the zodiac wheel. It is influenced by its inspiring element, fire, the presence of the astrological lion, and by its special relationship with the sun. The sign of Leo transits from July 23rd to August 22nd. It is the 5th sign of the zodiac wheel. It is preceded by the first 4 signs of the zodiac: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. This first group of signs is symbolically intended to establish the basis of a new individuality. Aries, the fiery pioneer I am sign, signals the beginning of a new life cycle. Taurus, the earthy I have and I build sign, provides the energy to construct the stability needed to move on life's adventure. Gemini, the airy I think sign, shows people a mental and communicative approach to life. Finally, the aquatic Cancer, the I feel sign, makes them recognize the emotional realm for the first time. In this sign, people devote their energies to establishing a family and a home. Now comes Leo's turn to shine as a reaction to the domesticity of Cancer. Leo takes the stage convinced that being, having, thinking, and feeling are more than enough to seize the world. This still young sign makes people feel an urge to glow, to parade their innate value and personal importance. Leo natives are the astrological representation of the human being as the center of the universe. Individuals born under the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, are spontaneous and full of vitality. They rely upon their inspiration and their enthusiasm to get what they want. They are direct and audacious. No matter what, they see life optimistically. They burn up problems with the fire of their egos and continue defiantly on their way. They exude self-assurance, but also demonstrate little sensitivity towards others. Like people born in the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, they express themselves without reservation. However, unlike those of the air signs who think, fire sign people act. The lions are eminently doers, and they are used to demonstrating their enthusiasm as if with fireworks. They are always ready to participate in all kinds of sparkling projects. The symbol for Leo is the lion, and his glyph represents the mane of this majestic king of beasts. The glyph is also associated with the snake, signifying wisdom and the intellectual brilliance of the sun. Honoring their royal association, Leo people take pride in their self-importance and are as magnanimous and generous as is the Lion King. However, they are not as self-assured as they would have others believe, and so they try very hard to impress with their outward performance. The psychic energy of Leo people is masculine and active, yang in Oriental traditions. While we all possess both masculine and feminine energies, astrology reveals the predominance of one of them in each sign. Yang signs are predominantly proactive and extroverted. This energy is particularly evident in Leo natives as a result of their urge to act, their desire to be the star of life's play. They tend to live for the applause rather than just finding it sufficient to be. As they age, people born under the sign of Leo become easygoing, overcoming the excessive importance they give to the approval of others. But the correspondence of this fifth sign with the second month of a season, a consolidating month, introduces a touch of feminine receptivity to the personality of Leo people. This position allows them to tame their extroversion a little, and so increase their potential to look inward and make contact with their inner self. The traits reflected by a Leo can, in part, be explained by the intimate relationship of this sign with its ruler, the sun. This central star provides vital energy and light to all the planets of the solar system. It shines for all of us, but it is particularly intense for Leo people, the only sign over which it reigns. Since time immemorial, the sun and the moon have been associated with masculine and feminine properties, respectively. In our Occidental solar astrology, the sun dominates the natal chart. It is the king of the chart. Its light brings illumination to all other components of the chart. On a personal level, the sun symbolizes our essence, our nuclear self, our soul self. It is the center of power and our vital energy. It represents our sense of identity. And as psychic energy, it encourages our self-expression. It embodies our intrinsic character and our fundamental concerns and interests. It represents authority, consciousness, and independence. The sun's brilliance bestows upon Leos a strong sense of individuality, a dominant will, and an irresistible desire to create. Leo people, like this star, have the need to radiate their internal energy.
Leo is a young sign. and therefore Leos express themselves through relatively primary impulses. They visualize themselves as the sun, shining upon the demons of darkness. And who are these demons? All those, including themselves, who are not impressed by Leo's brilliance. Their psychic youth explains their need for attention and their urge to demonstrate the nobility of their natures. Leos are convinced that their role is central to the drama of life. But like the courageous and noble lion, they can also be ferocious and brutal. Only by learning to appreciate the world around them and by considering the opinions of other people will they become powerful and noble lions, and then will truly shine like the sun that they are.
Leo in action.
The inner nature of the sign is perceived through the external manifestations of human form and action. Physically, intellectually, and emotionally, each of us bears the signature of our individual celestial disposition. How we look and how we behave at different stages and in different circumstances in our lives is what characterizes us as born in a particular sign. Leo body. Astrology finds in the parts of the body connections to the metaphysical world of the zodiac. Each sign has a physical correspondence. Those links follow a descent from the head in the first sign, Aries, to the feet in the 12th sign, Pisces. These connections are the pillars of medical astrology. Leo, as the 5th sign, is associated with the heart, the spinal cord, and the back. The sun, Leo's ruling star, relates to vital energy. Leo's link with the heart shows the generosity of heart of the egocentric lions. They are happy, energetic, and generally have a robust health. When they feel well, they look splendid. But when they don't, they lose their sunshine. They become particularly vulnerable when they feel unloved or unappreciated. Leos try to mask their physical discomfort through bravado. When they fall ill, they make every effort to recover quickly, so as not to lose their reputation for invincibility. They tend to be slim and have large almond-shaped eyes, an abundant head of hair, and a strong voice. They move gracefully and have a proud posture. Physically, Leos can excel at any sport, but do not take well to long hours of practice. They are attracted to classy sports, for which they can wear eye-catching outfits. Archery, sailing, horseback riding, or golf figure among their favorites.
The Leo child. Leo children are happy, entertaining, enthusiastic, warm, and generous. Even the most introverted of them is as rambunctious as a lion cub. They are outgoing and playful and use their charm to get what they want. They are more energetic and more restless than most children. They like to take risks and enjoy physical games. They are never intentionally aggressive towards others, but they will not hesitate to use their claws in self-defense. Generally, they are so active that, come time for bed, they have no trouble falling asleep instantly. Leos have a natural sense of dignity. They adore being the center of attention and will use their creativity to be so. They have a strong urge to show off. They are natural leaders with a strong sense of fairness. They make very good friends. They enjoy the company of their relatives and classmates. They like to show off their house, their club, their clothes, and their toys. Leo children are creative and intelligent. They can be quick learners, but only if they want to be. And so it is not unusual for them to display a bored and distracted attitude in class. Parents and teachers must realize that the only way to reach their hearts is through love and affection. They have to be sensitive to their sense of pride and nobility. If the Leo child's enthusiasm is blunted or their ego is hurt, the effects of such a slight could darken the brilliance of their sun for many years. Their strong need for social approval can create a dilemma for adolescent Leos. If they rely too heavily upon approval, they may lose sight of what is best for their own interests. But if they isolate themselves, they may then not find the requisite energy needed to see their projects through to completion. As they mature, they learn how to deal more effectively with their insecurities and so attain a psychic balance. Then they will find a way to freely project their internal strengths and so attain the recognition that they so earnestly seek.
The Leo adult. Those born under the sign of Leo tend to have highly developed egos. They are creative and express themselves grandiloquently so as to be noticed. They are somewhat exhibitionistic, which at times can be part of their charm. They always want to be at the center of what is going on. They try to be in on any new occurrence, so that they can contribute with their extravagant and big ideas. They work at achieving respect and being honored. They can be known for their proud and even arrogant posturing. They have no patience with restrictions. They tend to plan spectacular projects without giving thoughts as to the resources necessary to achieve them. They do not waste their energy on trivialities and are supremely confident that everything will work out. They give the impression that all of existence revolves around them. When they succeed, their lives become myths of their own making. The more recognition they get, the happier they are. Then they radiate generosity and confidence. However, should they meet with failure or disappointment, they become intolerant of any type of criticism. They find it difficult to recognize their faults or to evaluate their own actions. They rely upon their sun, fire, nature to keep their spirit aflame, and so they charge ahead regardless. Although they may be egocentric, Leo people will always act with the honor and dignity of true royalty. They are responsible and are capable of injecting vitality into any enterprise. They are enthusiastic, optimistic, and persevering. But in their constant need to be always in control of their own destiny, they can be overly persistent and obstinate. Like all of us, Leo people exhibit the best and the worst characteristics of human nature. In their case, however, they tend to do so in extravagant and noticeable ways. Moving to the opposite sign. Opposite signs are those signs which are positioned diametrically across from one another on the circular path of the zodiac. When lions are in trouble, when they can't seem to work their magic to attract attention, they tend to escape to their opposite sign, Aquarius, the 11th sign of the zodiac. In the visionary and humanitarian Aquarius, they can find the detachment necessary to evaluate their initiatives more objectively. There, they will also receive the energy to develop a more altruistic perspective. And so, they morph from an I want persona to an I know persona. However, taking shelter in their opposite sign can be problematic for them. As a reaction to the shock of Aquarian dispassion confronting their egocentrism, they can withdraw to an isolated place in the jungle to growl out their disenchantment and to lick their wounds. Fortunately, the mimicry of Leo people with Aquarians vanishes quickly. The lion's spontaneity and competitiveness are not compatible with the Aquarian's intellectualized interests in humanity. The Leo partner. Leo people commit all their brilliance and energy to love. They love to love, and do so with dramatic flair. They believe they are the only ones in the world experiencing these feelings, and create an entire soap opera around them. To them, love is life in action, a creative act. However, the lion's portion of their love goes to themselves rather than to their partners. They live in a fantasy and project it on the other. In the reality of the situation, their fantasy makes them romantic, generous, expressive, and proud. In return, they expect to receive the royal treatment from their loved ones. And more often than not, that is what happens. They are emotionally vulnerable, but fortunately, they are not spiteful. They display their affections publicly and enjoy arousing envy in those who are watching. They neither initiate nor tolerate infidelity. Such behavior is a violation of their code of honor. If, however, they should feel insecure, they can be arrogant and express themselves with brutal honesty and a lack of sensitivity. They tend to be controlling and invasive. It is imperative for their partners to set boundaries to avoid relationships of dominance and subjugation. If you are a Leo or are born in another fire sign, you are a perfect match for the lion. You both will enjoy a life of warmth, fantasy, and passion. The Leo male. The Leo man is charismatic, domineering, charming, and gets what he wants. In general, he is successful and popular, and he has a very active social life. He likes to be the master of his romantic life. In love, he is gallant and courteous, very passionate, and enjoys romance and drama. But he tends to play the role of Pygmalion towards a dependent and submissive partner. He can also require a complete devotion from the other, but will offer little interest in his partner's professional affairs and creative projects. After all, it is the planets that revolve around the sun. If you are an independent and self-sufficient person, avoid him, because even the most mature one requires full-time attention. However, if you are prepared to put your ego aside, a Leo man will prove to be an excellent and exuberant match. You will be proud of him, because he will always be a lion and never insignificant.
The Leo female. The Leo woman is not exactly the prototype for the weaker sex. Because of her strong yang energy, she tends to feel superior to all other women, with the exception of other lionesses. She is intelligent, ingenious, strong, and very sentimental. She sees herself as a queen and likes to be treated as such. Generally, she is very popular and is a leader in her social circle. She likes to be center stage. She is an excellent hostess and is very proud to be one. She is loyal to her friends, but wants them to orbit around her as a permanent entourage. Her warm smile conquers everybody. Nevertheless, she rejects uninvited intimacy and can be very arrogant with strangers. She likes to live her life on her own terms. Her days must be colorful and dynamic. If not, she will act as a cornered lioness. Like the Leo man, she uses her charm to seduce the person of her interest. If you fall for a Leo woman, enjoy her personality and her intensity. Be generous and give her recognition, and she will adore you. Take care not to allow her to suffocate you, but also do not try to undermine her. Leo lover. Both genders enjoy intense, passionate sex. But that can only happen if each feels comfortable within agreed parameters of the relationship. A fine bottle of wine and a gourmet meal can heighten expectations. They dislike abrupt encounters, and crude sexual behavior is a decided turnoff. A lukewarm affair has no allure for them. Their strong sexual impulses often lead them into many romantic adventures. Some of them may have developed lives of rigid structure, which could compromise their passions. In this case, acting outside of those boundaries can bring feelings of guilt for having expressed too much passion. Leo's erogenous zones are located around the heart and in the back, along the spine. Stimulate them accordingly, and you will find them a very willing partner. Leo at work. Leo people compromise themselves emotionally with their careers. Their ideal occupation is one that allows them to shine. They do not like teamwork because that entails sharing the stage. When they reach important positions, they will fight to stay at the top. It is almost impossible for them to follow instructions. However, they love to direct others. Leo's individuals like taking command, and they do it well. They are excellent organizers. They intuitively assign the correct tasks to each person under their supervision. They know full well that their own success depends in part on the effectiveness of their assistants. While they will not hesitate to praise a good performance, they will also not think twice about expressing their disapproval. Leos are appreciative of the efforts of others, but they also make abundantly clear their contribution as the boldest, most creative, original, and industrious of bosses. When insecure, they will adopt a tyrannical attitude to hide their fears. They will refuse to listen to advice and will consider it as interference or even sabotage. If Leos are to assume a secondary position, they will still require the necessary recognition of their qualities and capabilities. It is imperative that they be placed in situations that maximize their talents. They take pride in being seen as responsible and competent. So much so that often they would prefer to be given an impressive title rather than a salary increase. The most pertinent occupations for individuals of this sign are those allowing them to exercise their leadership and creative skills. They can bring off grandiose projects as long as they work with a team of realists. Politics is a natural career for them. So is any position that has to do with public relations. They excel as business executives, promoters, salespersons, educators, managers, or attorneys. Their flair for the dramatic and their innate extroversion make them obvious candidates for careers in the theater. Given their predilection for opulence, they gravitate to the beaux-arts. There they will become architects, fashion or jewelry designers, cosmetologists, and art dealers. Leo at leisure. Although the energies of the sun and the lion tend to keep Leo people very busy, they do enjoy their free time, and they can even become lazy. They like to entertain at home and to demonstrate their skills as hosts. They love traveling and visiting the in places. There, they acquire objects intended for display back home. They like to go dancing, have a good dinner, and attend concerts and art exhibitions. They will join study groups to improve their knowledge on such sophisticated topics as astronomy or the history of the theater, music, and fashion. They are adventurous, so they will take advantage of the opportunity to ride in an air balloon, fly a glider, or sign up for a parachute jump at least once in their lifetime. Leo and the sun in us all. We all experience, in one way or another, in different circumstances and at different times, the energies of Leo. In order to take advantage of this energy, it is important to know the position of this sign in our natal chart. Leo's features can be tremendously useful as long as we do not abuse them. We all need the lion's enthusiasm and optimism to bring willpower to our initiatives. We need their persistence and leadership to carry our projects forward. The Leo in us encourages us to seek affirmation. When we feel ignored, frustrated, and hurt, our Leo can come to our aid. Leo can convince us of the rightness of our way and so deflect the negativity of those who would deny us. It encourages us to remain proud, even in difficult times. Maybe this reliance is not ideal, but it does give us the self-assurance, when needed, to keep moving onward. Self-esteem is absolutely essential to our personal and spiritual growth. But we must remember that all of us use the sun's energy in our own way. We must develop our Leo qualities, but not its egocentrism. We cannot act as royal lions if that is not who we are. We cannot ignore how the solar energy of our daily lives is referenced by our sign and by the other elements of our natal chart. Only then can we improve our self-knowledge and advance our personal development. The celestial pattern of the stars and planets will always reflect the inner sky. As above, so below. Leo and the houses of the Zodiac. In the generic wheel of the Zodiac, each sign is related to one of 12 houses. In a numerical sequence, the first sign, Aries, finds itself in the first house, and the 12th sign, Pisces, is located in the 12th house. Thus, the house corresponding to Leo is the 5th one. It is known as the house of creative expression and pleasure. In the interpretation of our natal chart, the sign of the 5th house and its planet reveal to us our capacity to express our inner self, the areas in life in which we tend to infatuate ourselves with our own importance, the relationships we establish to reinforce our image, the activities that make us content with life and with ourselves, our capacity to enjoy life, our creativity and our ability for self-expression, our attitude towards the creativity of others, our perception of sexuality as a creative manifestation, romance and all that we instinctively love, children as masterpieces of human creativity, our behavior toward children and how they respond to us, dramatic artistic expression, such as theater and opera, leisure and vacations, our disposition to gambling and financial speculations. However, it should be noted that the emphasis put on any one of these matters in our natal chart or in an astrological reading at a determined moment in our lives depends on other astrological factors, on the interest of the consultant, and on the orientation of the astrologer. Leo and esoteric traditions. Astrology is closely related to other ancient and esoteric traditions developed all over the world to better understand the mystery of life. Each of them searches for the meaning of personal existence within the universe. The knowledge and wisdom of all of these traditions comes from the same source. So, while they may talk in different tongues, all speak in one voice. And so, through time, correspondences have been established between the solar signs and these traditional schools of thinking. Knowing some of these links gives us the opportunity to explore more deeply other holistic perspectives gleaned from these very rich and important cultures. Tarot. Tarot is an iconic representation of sacred and esoteric secrets through symbolic pictures. Its history is a matter of debate, but its origins have been said to go back to the most spiritually developed civilizations of the ancient world. The tarot has changed over the ages to such an extent that today it has more than 50,000 different presentations. But only a few of these retain the original symbolism. One of them is the Rider Tarot deck. The main cards of the tarot, called Major Arcana, enlighten the path of our personal growth. The major arcanum of the tarot attributed to Leo is the number 8, strength or persuasion. This card, associated with the cosmic power within human beings, symbolizes the moral power and the internal strength controlling the mind and the emotions. The number related to strength and to Leo is the 8. This number is connected to the Hermetic science. It was assigned by the Western esoteric schools to the power and the knowledge of Christ, to Jehovah, and to the god Tot, or Hermes Trismegistus. The number 8 represents the infinite. It appears on the head of the magician and in the feminine image of strength. It reminds lions that their knowledge of the physical world can be complemented by the knowledge they find within themselves. Through this conjunction, they will experience the power of the awareness of the here and now. 8 is also linked with the opportunities and achievements that individuals of the sign may have when they exercise their creativity and their internal strength with good judgment. The central figure of the card is a woman devotedly taming a lion. She is the same great priestess and the empress represented in the Arcana 2 and 3. She uses the intuition and power of these two female roles to dominate instincts, as represented by the lion. The garland on her head represents consciousness governing the forces of nature. Above her head, we see the symbol of infinity, signifying the superior mind or the provider of the spiritual strength needed to dominate the lion. In the background of this card, as in many others, there is a mountain, the esoteric representation of the path of spiritual evolution. Its inclusion points to the power of the tarot as an instrument for growth. The strength represents balance between spiritual and physical nature. It allows Leo people to accept the beast hiding within and stimulates them to use their internal power without imposing their instinctive urges. It reminds them that they are perfectly capable of using their great strength to make that climb up the mountain. Some astrologers see a connection between Leo and the Major Arcanum 1, the Magician. This association is based on the vision of the magician as a symbol of the power of all that exists in the real world, of self-assurance, and of the disposition to confront any type of danger. The combination of the energy of those two keys may be interpreted as the magician influencing Leo people to apply their strength to control the many demands of their I want persona and their excessive need for external approval. Both arcana encourage them to use their creativity and their drive for their personal growth and to be of service to others.
Cabbala. One of the oldest esoteric traditions of the world that permeates Western culture is the Cabbala, the Jewish mystical tradition. Cabbala gives an explanation of God's nature and the human connection to the divine. That connection is expressed in 32 distinct pathways, symbolized by the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 10 sephirot of the Tree of Life. Recently, this esoteric wisdom has become more and more exoteric. For the first time, the Cabbala is becoming more accessible to everyone. Here, we briefly present the relations that some Kabbalistic schools establish with Western astrology. The Hebrew letter. Hebrew letters have a mystical connection with the creation of the universe. The letter of the Hebrew alphabet assigned to Leo and to the strength is Tet, or serpent. In some traditions, the snake symbolizes secret knowledge and wisdom, and in others, it represents temptations, desires, and yearning for power. Both meanings have pertinence for Leo people. Tet reminds Leos that it is up to them whether they act as the one type of snake or the other. Another representation associated with this letter is the Ouroboros, the serpent-like dragon which bites its own tail. This is an ancient esoteric symbol representing the unit, the force preceding any creation. It is the divine power that feeds itself, the inherent order of the universe, the fusion of the masculine and the feminine, the cycle of death and rebirth. These are concepts which initially may seem antithetical to the self-centered concerns of Leos, but which sooner or later they will come to appreciate by way of their divine nature.
The Tree of Life. The Kabbalistic Hebrew spiritual diagram, known as the Tree of Life, conforms to 10 sephirot, representing heavenly man, behind whom is projected earthly man as a shadow. The sephirah associated with the sun is Tiferet, or beauty. It is located on the center pillar of the tree, the pillar of synthesis. The Kabbalists identify this sephirah with the manifested energy of the superior self, with the sun, or with Christ. In Tiferet are concentrated the archetypal representations of the solar gods, the spiritual strength of the redeemers of humanity, and the magic hermetic influences. Its power is represented by the image of a magic king, a newborn child, or a sacrificed god. This correspondence evokes the strength, royalty, and brilliance of Leo, the son of the Zodiac, king of the jungle. These attributes are not exclusive to Leos. We all share divine potential. It is just that they have the privileged capacity to express them in spectacular fireworks. Yoga chakras. The chakras are psychic centers of consciousness in Hindu yoga. They are the sense organs of the ethereal body that surround the physical body. Specialists and astrologers visualize a correlation between Leo and the fourth chakra, known as Anahata in the Hindu tradition. This chakra is located in the center of the chest at heart level. It is the confluence of the upcoming energies from the earth through the first three chakras and the energies descending from the cosmos through the three upper chakras. Moving through this center is the energy of love, which connects us to our essential nature. Its force, in certain moments, makes us aware of the potentiality of our being, hidden behind this earthly exterior. This red 12-petaled chakra is related to love, faith, and devotion. Its energy creates a harmonious balance between giving and receiving. From the point of view of reincarnation, Leo people must learn to radiate the qualities of the heart chakra through their actions in this life, if they wish to be reborn to a more elevated existence.
Alchemy. For hundreds of years, the alchemists have striven to accomplish the magnum opus, the great work. They have studied science, medicine, and astrology in order to discover the philosopher's stone. Their goal has been to find the elixir, that power that will transmute basic metals into gold. But the alchemical great work and the philosopher's stone do not only refer to metals. The great work is also a spiritual quest. That quest involves a 12-stage process through which human beings must pass to attain spiritual regeneration and enlightenment. The philosopher's stone in this process provides the clues to overcome the world of opposites. The sign Leo is linked with the 5th stage of the great work, known as the digestion. In this stage, the alchemist uses the cosmic power of the vital force of fire to consume and incinerate those elements that distort the human personality. This correspondence highlights once again the internal force of the lion nature, which can burn away the automatic patterns of behavior that prevent personal growth and spiritual evolution. This stage of the great work is also related to the transformation of the physical body. So the natives of Leo can also digest nature's powerful energy so as to revitalize their physical body and harmonize their energetic centers.
Magic. In the Western tradition of white magic, the sun, Leo's ruler, is connected to the phoenix. This is the magical bird which characterizes the power of rebirth to correct errors and to rise once more from the ashes of defeat. The weekday of the sun is Sunday. Its color is yellow. Its trees of identity are the myrtle, the citrus, and the olive. Its flower is the sunflower and any yellow blossom. It attracts mineral energy from gold, diamond, and rubies. Its aroma is that of frankincense, sandalwood, and wax. Saffron, mint, rosemary, and lavender are its perfumes. In the animal realm, it is closely identified with the lion as the king of the forest, and to all other felines as noble members of the royal family. On the musical scale, it finds its register in Mi, or E. Its talismans are the lion's claw, as well as the hexagram, or the 6-pointed star, representative of the union of macrocosm and microcosm, of the divine and the human planes. The practitioners of white magic use the forces of the phoenix and the energy of these elements to attract solar power towards the earth and to illuminate the hearts and minds of humanity.
Leo and mythology. Astrological charts and mythological stories are mirrors of human nature. Both speak the same language of human beings. Astrology and mythology reflect universal and common values and patterns. It is in the skies that these values and patterns are projected. The mythical gods and goddesses, heroes and heroines act them out. Mythic characters can help us to understand more fully some of the features presented in the solar sign. Greco-Roman culture. The mythic personages traditionally associated with the sign of Leo are Heracles and Androcles and their respective lions. Heracles, son of Zeus and a mortal, was forced by his father's wife Hera to fulfill 12 heroic tasks known as the 12 labors of Heracles. The first one consisted of killing the ferocious Nemean lion. Heracles located the beast and fought until he defeated it. After killing the lion, he created a magic cuirass with the skin and made a helmet with the jawbone. The ferocious lion was destroyed, but in transferring its power to the pieces of armor, it became vital in the achievement of Heracles' other tasks. This story illustrates the solidity and interior force of Leos, who, like Heracles, succeed when they control their instincts and impulses and put them to proper use. It also illustrates the value of pride, fierceness, and strength when well applied. To commemorate the importance of this lion in Heracles' quest, Zeus placed it in the constellation from which this sign takes its name. The legend of Androcles, the slave, depicts another facet of the Leo nature. Androcles fled from his master's house and took refuge in the forest. After some time, he was worn out by famine and thirst. One night, while he was sleeping, he heard the roar of an approaching lion. He thought the lion would devour him, but to his surprise, the animal did not attack. Its roar was, in fact, a cry of pain, for it had a thorn in one of its paws. Androcles overcame his fear and extracted the thorn, and the grateful animal protected and fed him from that moment on. After a while, the fugitive was found and taken before the emperor. He was condemned to die in the circus. But the lion, instead of devouring Androcles, approached and licked him affectionately. When the emperor found out the reason, he released the slave and returned the lion to his natural habitat. These stories emphasize the generous and magnanimous side of Leo, leaving self-interest behind and accepting the worth of others. The Afro-Latin American tradition. From the colonial slave trading days to the present, very old African religious beliefs have influenced Latino American culture. The followers of the Yoruba religion link the sun and the god Helios with one of the 7 greatest orishas. He is known as Shango. In the syncretism of this tradition with the Christian religion, he is also identified in some countries of Latin America with Santa Barbara. Shango is the passionate god of fire and lightning. He is the most popular and handsome of the orishas. Needless to say, he is also the greatest womanizer of them all. Tradition has it that Shango was a relentless African king who became an orisha after his death. He had the power of divination and wisdom and became the sole master of the table of Ifa, a very antique and sacred oracle. But Shango surrendered the oracle and his power to Orenla in exchange for his dancing skills, skills that he used to conquer women. This tale emphasizes the charm and seduction of the Leos, as well as their weaknesses. Casual romances need not necessarily be considered weaknesses. On the contrary, they can be seen as opportunities. Through these relationships, lions can learn to deal with other individuals as peers, and they can display all their capacity for enjoying life without restrictions.
Celtic culture. An interesting link has been made between the sign Leo and the Celtic legend of Percival. In his youth, Percival received a very sheltered upbringing from his protective mother. He wanted to be a knight, but had neither the means nor the skills demanded of knighthood. Nevertheless, not heeding his mother's warnings, he took himself off into the world, where he soon gained a reputation for being naive and foolish. One day, as a guest of the ailing Fisher King, he witnessed a procession of the Grail, but failed to ask its significance for fear of appearing impolite. He soon realized the importance of this missed opportunity. He set out on a quest to find the Holy Grail and become its guardian. His quest transformed him into the knight he had always wanted to be. Certain of his true goal and using his newfound inner power, he eventually was asked to join King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Percival's progress to maturity is similar to that of the enthusiastic and juvenile Leos. It might take them some time to shine internally, but their courage and perseverance in dealing with adversity is what will eventually make them true knights on their life's journey. The tale points to their necessity to pursue an important goal as a way of compensating for their insecurities and their sense of pride. Percival's failure to ask the right question at the right time also symbolizes Leo's internal challenges. To find their identities, they must first question what's important to them. When Leos attain sufficient maturity to realize who they truly are, they can begin to follow their own quest for their Holy Grail.
Other cultures. The symbolic importance of the sun representing power is beyond doubt. Some of its embodiments in diverse cultural traditions are Utu in Mesopotamia, Ra in Egypt, Surya for the Hindus, Huitzilopochtli for the Aztecs, Inti for the Incas. The lion is also present in many cultures. Sekhmet of Egypt, a powerful lion goddess, is sent to punish humanity for its rebellion against the sun god Ra and his divine law. Durga, in the Hindu tradition, the fierce reincarnation of Shakti, the mother goddess, rides on a feline, a symbol of conscious awakening and purity. In the Jewish Christian tradition, the Lion of Judea symbolizes the arrival of a Messiah, a descendant from the lineage of Judah, the son of Jacob. The great goddess Amaterasu in Japan. In popular Western culture, the lion, the king of the jungle, is a symbol for a good heart and strong values. We can see these characteristics expressed in such films as The Lion King and Ice Age. Using the Leo potential. People born under Leo, and those with a strong presence of this sign in their natal chart, have innate regal attributes. That can make them act as majesties, but also as boasters. They are brave, noble, and generous with their loved ones. But they can also be fixed in their opinions, domineering, and autocratic. Throughout their lives, they fluctuate between both sides of their nature, but generally favor the royal and generous one. Although they don't show it, lions spend most of their lives searching for their identity and trying to discover their way. While in the process, they fight for admiration to feel secure. They will progressively understand that their self-esteem comes from their inner resourcefulness. They do not need to depend on an audience of admirers for approval. As they evolve, they will begin to have more faith in their choices. They will overcome their egocentrism and rigidity with joy. Then they can reach that level of open-mindedness necessary to use their power in a wonderful way that will be beneficial to all. We should not forget that, after all, they are the glittering sons and daughters of the sun, and that they have the nobility and the power of the king of the jungle.